We're here in the ruins of Charleston, Arizona, which is right across the river from Millville. Millville is where a lot of the ore from the early days of Tombstone was processed because of the proximity to San Pedro River. This became an official town site in 1879, and by 1880 had over 400 people living here per the census. In 1887, there was a significant earthquake that made many of the structures uninhabitable, and on top of that, water was struck in the mines in Tombstone, and they started milling in Tombstone instead of down here 8 miles away at Millville. As a result, a lot of the people left, and this became, ostensibly in 1887, a ghost town. Tombstone in Hollywood and modern mythology is considered this rugged western frontier town with lawlessness and gunfights, and actually that wasn't really the truth. Tombstone was a very law-abiding place. Your chance of being involved in a problem or a violent incident there was quite low. However, there were two towns that really did live up to that reputation. Galeyville, which is up east of Tombstone, and Charleston, southwest, which is where we're at today. This was the lawless, rugged town that you think of. In fact, there's notes about people going to work in the morning and a dead body laying in the street with bullet holes in it. It was such a common event that they just sort of ignored it and kept going to work. We're now on the main street of the ruins of Charleston. It was very wide, businesses on both sides. You can't really make it out yet, but there's ruins, extensive ruins of businesses, one next to another to our right, and further back behind us to the left. We have a photo of this site in the 1880s that we're going to splice into the video to give you an idea of how really bustling this really was. The lawlessness of Charleston did not go without a response. However, it isn't necessarily the one you'd expect, or maybe even the one you'd want if you were living here. A man by the name of James Burnett, referred to as Jim Burnett, was the Justice of Peace for Charleston. Pima County, and this was Pima County at the time, not Cochise County, asked him to see his books. And he said he didn't keep any books because he didn't need to, because his law enforcement efforts here were self-sufficient, and there's a good reason for that. He would walk through the town with a shotgun in hand, many accounts of this, and he would declare court in session with someone he thought was a lawbreaker, try them there on the spot, find them there on the spot, and then pocket the money. In spite of the lawlessness of Charleston, there were people here that were honest people trying to live a normal life and have a good wage. And there was one church to supply their religious needs. Curly Bill Brocious and Ike Clanton, if not a few more of the cowboy faction, decided one day that they needed some religion in their lives. Living at the Clanton Ranch nearby, they came over into Charleston to do that and satisfy their needs. They stormed into the church, well armed, and demanded a real hell and brimfire damnation sermon from the preacher. All the people in the constituency decided they didn't want to be there for this, and they left, and they forced that preacher to give them that sermon. After the sermon, they gave him the biggest tithe that was ever recorded on the books for the Charleston church. However, the townspeople didn't care for this event, and they let Jim Burnett know about it. He arrested them on the street with his shotgun, Curly Bill specifically. Actually, Curly Bill was taking a nap against the wall, and he arrested him on the street, declaring court is in session, and fined him a significant amount of money for this disruption of the peace. After that, it was said that Curly Bill said he didn't want to go to church anymore because it was too damn expensive. So the town site wasn't completely abandoned in 1887. 1889, there were some people still living here, Mexicans and other people just trying to find a place where they could live affordably, I guess would be the best way to put it. But the town really befell a couple other failures post-1887's earthquake. The river is cutting through the bank and has actually destroyed a couple blocks of what was Charleston. But then in 1943, the local army base, Fort Huachuca, found this to be an excellent location for training, as they called it, Little Tunisia. And in fact, we have a photo we're going to splice into the video. But you can see these cliff walls here, and the troops were scaling these walls and then engaging in essentially mock urban combat training through the ruins of Charleston. So you will actually find out here, if you look real hard and if it hasn't completely been picked, 30-06 casings and even ammo crates. Now, it's important to remember this is a historic site, and if you come to a location like this, you should leave it there. Not only for legal reasons, but for the preservation of the site and for other people that come to visit it. But it's a very interesting piece of the history of this site, and that was really the final straw in what turned this into a ruin. It's kind of a shame that this site is now in ruins, but it's also awesome that the ruins are here for us to enjoy and show you today. Tombstone has overshadowed so much of the history of this area and the Old West, and for good reason. Tombstone's important. But this location has just as many historic events, if not even more significant ones, in the role of the shaping of our country and this area of the world. We hope you enjoyed seeing these ruins today and this little bit of history. Tune in for more Old West vignettes at InRange TV. Please subscribe today and tell your friends.